First, I just want to say that it's a great honor to be here and participate in this great discussion about how to rethink the public spaces. And our story that we will share with you today will show you our approach to the urban interventions, and which we think that when we talk about rethinking the public realm, the tool that you can use to do this in a very inexpensive way could be the temporary urban interventions that we will show you. As it was said, we come from Czech Republic. When we studied architecture, came to Sweden 2 years ago and studied sustainable urban design, and we really both of us enjoy this connection between architecture in the detail and the big scale urban design. And this is the city that we come from, Prague. Maybe you've been to Prague. It's known for the beautiful public spaces that has been performing very well for centuries now. And we are very lucky because we've inherited it and we didn't really do much to it. But in contemporary city, of course, there is these new issues that came up in the 20th century. It's been mentioned here, traffic, big issue. Also, another big issue that we have in Prague is, you could say, maybe bad urban design or poor planning. Like this has been 3 years now, it's been street turned to pedestrian zone, but nothing has been done to because there was a disagreement in the politics. So it's been like this, people don't really have a place to sit, so they had to use the curb. And this is this is the main square of Prague. Also, as in other cities in Prague, there's lots of places with great potential, like the like the waterfront here, where also it could use a little bit extra urban design in it to make it more comfortable, because you can sit on the stone only for a little bit before you get cold at night. So we ask these questions to us, as a student, what could you do with it? And you work on the projects in school which always end up only on a poster and don't get realized. And we've been stuck in schools for quite a lot of years. So we wanted to kind of, benefit, how can we benefit the city? And we decided to found this kind of Urban Act platform, the three of us, with our friend. And the act was the main kind of, the main goal, not only talk about it, actually get physical and do something. And we thought that the urban interventions would be a great tool. How could we improve the city? And also a great tool how you could maybe engage the public and also the students, which we are students, and we feel like I could use some of the manual labor, and we have a lot of friends that were willing to help us. So we really wanted to involve students. So we made it platform not only to share our projects, but also to kind of collect the urban interventions in Prague, because once collected, they can be really used as a planning tool for future. And one of the projects that we will talk about mostly is the instant park that we did 2 years ago on the waterfront. So this is the city of Prague, and you have a river, Moldau, going through the city. And I live close to here, and we walk this waterfront quite often. It's not very busy. Tourists don't go here, and you have beautiful view of the Prague, of the Prague skyline. But it could use a little bit of improvement. So we were looking at it, and we thought, how could we change this, or should something else be here besides just the walking cobblestones? So we had this idea that we should do something about it, and for us it was mostly about the process, which we find as most, it's the same importance, the process that we went through, as the result actually. And it was 6 months from the first idea we had, with several, kind of the checkpoints. We had to get the funding, we had to get the legal permit. Also, as we said, we want to involve public, so we had 4 public lectures when we talk about, okay, what should be the waterfront, what is the future of the waterfront? Ending with kind of the very fast workshop installation and the public event afterwards. So we chose this place, 100 meters over the waterfront. And it was 100 meters because when you go to the municipality to get the legal permit, we didn't really have the idea what was going to happen there, because that was the workshop to determine it. So we just shared the idea. Then, of course, they need to be evaluated on the fire and safety. So they said, okay, you'll get 100 meters of 100 square meters, and just don't do anything stupid. So we got the permit, and we engaged 10 students, not only architecture students, design students, art students, that were willing to participate in this very intense 48-hour workshop, because we thought that students are used to work under pressure. So we really wanted to 48 hours workshop, 48 hours for the installation, and then 48-hour event or public party, you could say, for the weekend to test out the transformation that we would propose. Of course, with project like this, you need money, and we're students, so we couldn't really invest our own money in it. So you had to find funding, and we were able to get funding from a big phone company, which they have these foundations to support public art and public projects. So you're lucky to get one of the money grants to fund this idea. And then we started with the workshop.
Yeah, now I will tell you how we spent the money. First, we started with the introduction and setting up the basic goals. Of course, it was to make the waterfront more friendly for users, to provide some seatings, and to provide a space where people can enjoy the view of the Prague Castle. And as usual, people started to sketch a lot, but then shortly they've moved to different scales. First, they started with small models, but they shortly realized that even though that you put a lot of effort in it, you need to try it in a big scale. So over the 2 days, we've moved to the real prototypes. But first, of course, they tried different ideas. Some ideas were kind of basic, but also we had very crazy ideas like this 7-meter height scaffoldings with trampolines, which we thought that it's probably not the best idea to provide on the waterfront because we wanted people to enjoy it, not to get hurt. And shortly we came up with the idea of using the pallets because it's a super nice piece of structure that you can use in different ways. It's hard. It is structurally very firm, so you can do whatever you want with it. You can cut it, you can sand it, and it's very pleasant to touch because it's a wood. And of course, we started with a modeling and with different things, different transformations and different structures. And of course, since you have the ideas how you put it together, when you move to actual prototype and actual training of how it works in one-to-one scale, you maybe realize that it's not working the way you want, as we did here. So we had to come up with a different idea. And we shortly come up with a solution that was very easy. You have a pallet, and if you cut it in half, or almost half, you get 2 pieces. And if you fold them together, you can actually create a module that is pleasant and it's very friendly for users because they can sit, they can lay on it, and you can also put it in a different positions, so you can create different kinds of public furniture for different users. We shortly moved to the installation on the actual site, and it was really nice for students to really get hands dirty because they've also tried a lot of different things with small models, but when you get on the site and you get to build it, it's a very different feeling because you can see the result shortly. And yeah, this is me sending the palette, and I really enjoy it. You can see it. First, we started with a prototype, and once we set it up, we were very curious if it's gonna work or not. Will people sit on it? Because of course you have the feeling that maybe they won't be that used because it's not super nice wood and it's very rough and very industrial. But shortly after we set it up, we've seen people that were waiting for the ferry, and they just sat and they enjoyed the view. And if they also had the opportunity to sit on the actual bench, but they chose our bench, so we felt that it's working.
Yeah. Also, along the way that once we tried to kind of work with the actual objects of the wooden pallets, there was a lot of kind of the side projects came up, like this very spontaneous hanger bench, which we thought would be a great way how to get closer to the water, actually. And or this 100% recycled floating device, which uses all the plastic bottles to actually lift up, the wooden pallet on the water. And of course, before letting the public use it, you have to test all these experiments, and then you need to adjust it when it doesn't really work. But in the end, we got it to work, and we spent 2 days on the site building it, and coming up with the ideas. For the weekend, we had it open to public, and this is the place that usually many people pass by this place, but not many people stop because there's not really that much to do. But when we had this instant park, set up there, it started, people started meeting and started to become the hot spot on the waterfront. And when a lot of kids showed up, and suddenly what we thought would be sitting became a large playground for them, which was very spontaneous and very nice to watch. And it was there for 2 days, and we saw what was nice about it, that we got not only kind of our friends join in, but also there was people that we never seen. There was old people, young people, kind of all mingling in this one spot, and they even got to float on the water. It was very nice, and because we wanted to also. We had this experience building it, which was fantastic, but we also wanted the public that would come also to kind of be engaged at least a little bit in the process. So with our friends, we set up this workshop, the Throne, with the idea of they could themselves build during the 2 days a couple of chairs. I think it was about 20 chairs, and just take them along the waterfront anywhere they wanted to sit. Of course, this was a great fun for us, but for the effects, it was fun, it was party, but also we were lucky that it got quite a lot of attention, and which allowed us to take the temporary installation to give it some of the permanent effects, or at least slightly permanent effects. We were able to spread the seating 2 more places. We were also asked by the businesses around this square that was empty, because they really felt this could be that this was empty, could use some seating. So we were asked by the businesses if we could come with some ideas, which didn't really work out in the end because of the city hall. But also in a kind of long-term planning perspective, when we did the project, there was an ongoing discussion about the future of the waterfront, about the whole stretch of the waterfront. And of course, we did not participate in the discussions. It was, above us, all the higher guys. But we did this project in the moment to demonstrate what could be one of the possibilities. And now in the strategic plan, actually, this stretch is marked as this should be used for the temporary stuff. So it's with our temporary, we didn't aim to be halfway to the permanent, but maybe the temporary became the final stage of the objects. And because along the way we have met a lot of friends and a lot of people that also were doing these stuffs around Prague, we get a lot of projects, and they're exhibited in the full-scale lab. And now we will just shortly talk about a few of them to tell you the short stories.
Yeah. We've collected quite a big collection of different projects, but we will introduce you only 3 of them. The rest is in the full-scale lab together with the Pillow Cloud. So go check it out. First one is the street stage that is organized by Center for Central European Architecture, which was focusing on the highway that cuts through the city of Prague, which is a terrible place to be around, but it's very necessary for the transport over the city. They've chosen this place, which is parking lot during the day, and they wanted to demonstrate that even this kind of place, which is not pleasant to be around, can be turned into something very different and very lively, with using quite simple things like marking it with a color, and with engaging also local communities and local people. So they've changed it from parking lot to quite a busy place to be. They've included the local pub with Pilsen, you can see here, and they've took outdoor seating, and they've put up a lot of stages and a lot of places to interact with the organizers, but also with different groups that are involved in the public space. This area is also quite dangerous during the nighttime, not in the way that you would feel threatened by someone, but you don't really feel welcomed in the space. So by proposing a different action and engaging more people, you get the feeling that if people stay, it's safe for you to be there as well, which was. The other thing is the bench Grosseto, which is set in a very nice public park close to the waterfront, where there's a lot of benches along the waterfront overlooking the river and looking at the Prague Castle, which is a spectacular view. But also there is this floating boat, which was set up, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and it's blocking the view of the castle from the riverbank. And our friends, they ask themselves a question like, what if the private should take over the public space? And of course, the answer was no. So they've set up this bench, which was elevated 2 meters higher than the average benches, and you could get the view, finally, to demonstrate that maybe the public space should be stronger than the private entities around, or at least they should cooperate somehow. Of course, it was done illegally, so they were supposed, or they had to take it down after 2 weeks, I think, but it caused quite a lot of discussion about this place. It was kind of a good strategy also for the pizzeria, because it's a place where you can eat. It was a good promo for them, but at the same time, it caused a lot of discussion. Yeah.
The last project we'll talk about is it's a great example on how to involve public in the planning and the public in the kind of transforming the city in the bottom-up way. So there's this very nice neighborhood in Prague which overlooks the whole city with the park, but it's always in Prague there's lack of seating, and these guys, they set up this huge workshop for the whole neighborhood. And the idea of the workshop was to, they would provide wood and the people would themselves build the bench according to very simple, IKEA-like manual that everybody could do. Even the small kids could do the furniture and help themselves transform the city in the way they want it. And they were encouraged kind of to mark out their favorite spots in the neighborhood that could deserve the to have seatings there. And the idea was, of course, that this would be done temporarily, and afterwards maybe the city could follow up and use these spots to actually mark them permanently with the sitting. Unfortunately, again, it did not really work out with the city hall, with the municipality. All these temporary benches had to be taken away. But again, even though they were taken away, it raised a discussion about the quality of the city representatives, and it's on the way. It's politics, but at least so even though like the temporary objects are removed, it leaves some of the permanent aftermath. And the last project we can say we did is the exhibition with the pillow cloud. I don't know if you haven't been there yet. We encourage you to go there and lie there. It's only temporary. I think it will be taken out of tomorrow. So enjoy it, look at the projects, and thank you.